Population and Environment lecture under the Aanandam program series. Human population and distribution. Population is intimately related to environment. The human population is growing faster than ever before. World population is growing roughly by 92 million every year. It is interesting to note that it took about 2 million years for the world population to become 1 billion in 1830. It took the next 100 years for the world population to become 2 billion in the year 1930, and 30 years to become 3 billion in the year 1960, 25 years for 4 billion in the year 1985, and 12 years for 5 billion in the year 1997, and it stood at 6.3 billion in the year 2000 and is estimated to be about 4 times around 22.5 billion in 2100. The statistics for India is of serious concern. Between 1901 and 1951, India's population grew from 238 million to 361 million, an increase of 52% in 50 years. Between 1951 and 1981, it expanded from 361 million to 685 million. Post-independent India, in 35 years from 1947 to 1981, literally added a second India, that is, it doubled its population. At present, it has far exceeded 1 billion mark. Now we have been overwhelmed by population explosion since 1980. Population density. The density of population within a country gives a rough idea of the effect of population on natural resources. Lightly populated countries retain more of their original vegetation and wild animal populations than those with dense human population. Population density is defined as the number of persons per square kilometer. Population density cannot accurately predict the impact of environmental damage on the economy of a country. Some of the most crowded countries are the most prosperous ones. For example, Taiwan, Singapore, South Korea, where the population density is more than 1000 people per square kilometer. Some crowded countries even manage to produce all their own food. For example, UK, which has a population density of 600 people per square kilometer, exports food, while Brazil, which has a population density of 44 people per square kilometer, has an acute shortage of food and has to import it. Again, Europe has all the timber and fresh water it needs. But Africa, which has a population density of 95 people per square kilometer, has acute shortage of both these items. Such inequalities among countries are due to differences in their economic status, both sustainable and non-sustainable. The countries with stable population enjoy sustainable economy and are prosperous. Countries with fast population growth suffer from non-sustainable economy and problems of poverty, diseases, etc. Age structure. In context of India, India has a pyramidal distribution of age-wise population. Children constitute approximately 40%, youth constitute approximately 33%, middle-aged persons account for approximately 21.5%, and old account for approximately 6.2% of population. India has a youthful age structure, reproductive group wise. Western countries have much less youthful age structure, which slows the population growth. The ratio of people over 65 and under 15 to the rest of the population is known as dependency ratio. This gives a measure of the economic impact of the age structure. People above 65 and below 15 contribute little to the economy and must be supported by the working population. High dependency ratio in India has an adverse effect on the economy. This is why majority of working Indians have lower standard of living. Whether a population is increasing, decreasing, or stationary is estimated from age specific fertility rate. The fertility rate for India is about 3, while that for developed countries is 1.5. The doubling time, that is the time period in which the population doubles, for India it is less than 25 years, whereas the doubling time for our resources like water, food, energy, etc. is far more than 25 years. And hence we fail to tackle the pressure on schools, hospitals, and other vital services. Infant mortality and life expectancy. Infant mortality is one of the most tragic indicators of poverty of a country. It also sets the parameters of life expectancy, that is, the average number of years that a newborn baby is expected to survive. The world's highest life expectancy is that of Japan, which is 79 years. Japan enjoys high literacy and high standard of living. In India, high infant mortality is responsible for low life expectancy. Furthermore, lack of basic amenities of life, that is, access to clean water, nutritious food, and elementary education, is also responsible for low life expectancy. Carrying capacity. The maximum population size that an ecosystem can support under particular environmental conditions is known as the carrying capacity. In natural ecosystem with unlimited resources and ideal environment, species can multiply at a maximum rate. However, in actual practice, the population of a species remain in check due to interaction of the inhabiting species as also finite number of resources. It is an established fact that while food grain production under optimum conditions increases arithmetically, that is, as 1, 2, 3, population increases geometrically, that is 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, and so on. So rate of population is given by the expression dn upon dt is equal to rn, where n represents the population size and r represents the specific growth rate. With doubling of population, resources do not double, and hence it sets in a critical situation. If the population size exceeds the carrying capacity, it leads to a population crash or explosion. When environmental conditions get degraded and lower the carrying capacity, the present population growth will get more and more unfavorable for human survival as it will destroy the carrying capacity in the long run. The population growth must be linked to the resource base in order to have sustainable development. The developed countries follow the concept of population stabilization, that is, to keep the population growth level below 0.5%, which holds the key to economic development and resource management. For India, population is a time bomb which must be diffused. We have to break the dangerous P triangle, where P stands for population, poverty, and pollution, on an emergency basis for our development. Urbanization. Industrial progress, along with job opportunities, leads to growth and mushrooming of cities all over the world as centers of commerce and production, centers of art and culture. This also encourages the migration of rural population to cities. Unplanned growth of urbanization leads to collapse of infrastructure and miserable living conditions in slums, particularly in metropolitan cities. The net result being that the citizens have poor quality of life. With ever increasing population, megacities are on the point of collapsing under the pressure of the population for right to basic civil amenities like housing, transport, water supply, sanitation, etc. Impact of population pressure on India's environment, food and natural resources. India occupies 2.4% of world's lands area, but it accounts for 16% of world population. Also, the hard fact remains that among more than 1 billion plus population, nearly 400 million are illiterate and an equal number live below poverty line. Such huge population has enormous demands for food, shelter, water, fuel, sanitation, etc., which in turn has impact on the natural resources. The food grain production is unable to keep pace with our population explosion. It is well known that while agricultural production increases arithmetically, population increases geometrically. The cultivated land in India, which is about 143 million hectares, has already reached the saturation carrying capacity since it is subjected to soil erosion, loss of soil fertility due to intensive cultivation, excessive use of fertilizers and pesticides. Population explosion has also exerted tremendous pressure on our water resources. Our available water resources are 690 cubic kilometer surface water and 452 cubic kilometer groundwater. This is not adequate to meet the demand for water, which is ever increasing. Fast growth of population also leads to degradation of soil due to human activities. Every year we are losing 6,000 tons of topsoil, resulting in soil erosion, loss in soil fertility, drought, or flood. Population explosion exerts a tremendous pressure on forest resources to meet the increasing needs for land, timber, fuel, etc., leading to random deforestation with annual loss of 1.3 million hectares of forest. Deforestation also leads to extinction of valuable species of plants including medicinal plants and animals, causing loss of biodiversity and hence leading to national calamity. Population pressure has imposed severe strain on non renewable and conventional energy sources and mineral resources. The increasing consumption of fossil fuel has led to air pollution and health hazards, particularly in cities and industrial areas. As a matter of policy, the population growth has to be reduced from 2.4% to 1% in order to protect the environment, and save our future generations. We have to pull ourselves out of this dangerous P triangle in which we are trapped, that is, population, poverty, and population pollution. Thank you.